Hi friends, happy Saturday night. Welcome, welcome. We'll get started in a minute. Hi there, thanks for joining tonight. We're gonna be making this cutie, well, a little bit bigger probably. Sorry, you can see my computer. Hi there, thanks for hanging out. Hi Kim, thank you for joining tonight. We'll get started in a minute. Just trying to move some things out of the way. Hey Tracy. There, that's a little bit better. Hi Patty, thanks for joining everyone. Happy Saturday night. So it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Pennsylvania. I am good, Kim. I had a pedicure today, got my piggies done, so they're nice and fresh, even though I don't ever walk barefoot. Hi B, thanks for joining tonight. So I did finish our mummy samples. Hey Tammy, how are you? They are so cute. I'm very, very happy. So I did make 2 of them. The other one, I don't think I can fit on camera because it's 22 inches. But I will type up the sizes. So here's Papa. I can't get them all on camera. So cute. And he is 22 inches and I use, like, I can't even get them all on camera, so. But this one took a long time. Hi Nikita. Kim, I am in the Reading area. It's an hour west of Philadelphia, 30 minutes from Lancaster. Sherry, I don't have Frankie. I don't have a Frankie magnet. I sold all of them last year, so we'll probably make them again. Let me check my magnet wall. Sometimes I do keep one. Nope, sorry. So we are gonna make, it's gonna be a little bit larger than this one. This one was 14 inches, approximately. Let me mark down so I don't forget my sizes. So I did the 22 inch using an octagon base. This one is 14 inches approximately. And that one we did a hexagon base. And now we're going to do one a little bit larger, but I'm using the same size styrofoam ball center. So I'm hoping we have enough petals. I did try and prep everything. I'll show you making 2 of them, but it does take time, I won't lie. I just watched TV or Netflix like I was doing earlier when I was prepping these petals tonight. So it did take probably about 90 minutes to cut the petals. Now I did use my Cricut, I didn't hand cut them. To do that and cut, I had the strips cut, but I had to ink them all. It is adorable. So last year, I made the small magnet. So this was using template 3 mini flower. So it's basically the same technique that we're going for, but in a larger version. And I inked them probably a little bit more than I did this one. Okay, so this one was our mini flower of template 3. And the instructions and the video are available on my page. I might make a little bit bigger one this year using the mini flower design. And now this is using large template 3. So I did, yes, I know, and or if I made some spider web ones last year with template 4. V just finished her spider web ones at Forever Petals by V. I caught the end. So yes, this would be super cute with all her Halloween flowers too. So I did update template 3, the large one, and I'll go through my files this week. And if you did purchase it and you are a hand cutter, or you can reach out to me, I can send you the new print cut trace. So I did add additional sizes. So now there's 16 petals in template 3. So let's get started. So if you do purchase it, it's in there. I have the old file and the new file in there, just because my sample flowers were made with the old template. And there's nothing wrong with the old template. I just have now 16 sizes. So we're going to be using, and like I said, I pre-cut everything just because, thank you, Tammy. Because of the time it takes, I don't want to keep you all night. And I want to have an adult beverage after this then. An adult slushie. So we're using petal 8. So we're using, you need 12 of petal 8, which is 6 inches high. You need 6 of petal 7, which is 5.5 inches high. 6 of petal 6, which is 5 inches high. And 6 of petal 5, which is 4.5 inches high. So I cut mine from the Cricut for when I do hand cut them. And I just use the 110 pound cardstock. So I picked up a big pack of the green shades at Michael's. If you do purchase the template, you do get a PDF file that you can print onto cardstock and then cut out. I provide a PNG, an SVG, and an DXF file. Okay. Hi Patricia, how are you? Welcome Myra. Oh, I'm hot. All right. It's warm and humid here again today in Pennsylvania. All right, so the first thing you need to do is cut some strips of paper. So what I like to do, where did I put them? I cleaned up a little bit. Is save your sheets after you cut out your petals and use them for your strips, because on the smaller petals you can use this part of it. So let's just say, let me look for one. Oh, where my other one went. I use a paper cutter, and you need 1-inch strips. So like I said, you can just use your extra ones, because I don't throw out, I keep a pile of paper around. So 3.5, there's 2.5, 1.5, and 1. So I do have longer strips, but like I said, you can cut some sheets. And then we need to take I'm using Distress Oxide Antique Linen. Hi Cheryl, how are you? And again, it's the Antique Linen. You can use anything if you have another type of ink, and I just go along the edges. And I did this, a whole bunch of them, a bag of them the other night while watching TV. And you just go all around the edges. And why do I do it before we glue it on? Because otherwise you don't get that darker edge if you would just put them on and then ink over it. I like to have that little extra detail. Okay, so now we're just, I hope you're having a great weekend, my friends. Now that we did that, we're going to glue them on with craft glue. So I have some longer strips, and this I just cut 1 inch and on the 8.5 by 11 paper. The white I'm using is Nina Bright White by Astro Brights. I purchased it on Amazon, and it comes in a pack of 250. I believe Walmart has it. They used to have the smaller packs of 80 sheets. Ours does not have it anymore. So I just ordered mine on Amazon, and I'm almost out. So I use Barely Arts Precision Craft Glue. And all you do is glue all your strips. I usually do the first one at one angle. And, ooh, shit. Sorry. Oh, I swore. Sorry. I promise I didn't have an adult beverage before this. You need 1, 2, 3, 4. About 5 strips. And then on the smaller petals, about 4. So you're going to do this to all of your petals. Like I said, there's a lot of prep. But, ooh, is the result fun. Oh, Rebecca, how are you? I was wondering about you. I haven't seen you on Crafting Happy Hour, or at least I missed your name. I'm hoping it's not me, Tammy, sometimes, because it's the weekend and everybody's on in my neighborhood. There's an apartment building that we live next to, and it might be me. Cheryl, yes, I just edged my strips, and I'll show you again. And save like your sheets of paper when you're cutting your petals. And just cut them into smaller pieces. So I took my Distress Oxide of Antique Linen. And now I've been using this one a little while. And I just went, and I go over it. I don't even think about it. Can everybody see it, or are you still having trouble? And like I said, it could be me. And I just go over it. So I'll leave that sit there so you can see. And then we just glue it on. You're welcome. I've been making lots of mummies the last 2 days. I keep some longer strips because we need those to go around our ball for his face, or her face. So it's normally about 5 strips of 1 inch. I cut them in 1 inch. Even my very large flower that I made, I did 1 inch strips. And I'm just zigzagging across. And I do go all the way down to the bottom. That's just me being crazy perfectionist. And especially on the small one you want to, because that's your bottom layer. Okay, so now I normally use a placemat when I'm gluing, but I didn't do that now. Keep your glue handy. I go around and I cut off the extra. And it's okay if you cut into the petal a little bit. And I'm using an older scissors, not my good ones. So you're just trimming off your excess. So if it gets a little jagged, don't worry about it. I don't have my glasses on right now, so. So I will have a set of 3 of these once we're done here. I will use them at my maker's market and I will sell them. If not, we'll just donate them to a doctor's office or somewhere. Okay, so throw out your scraps because this has glue on it. Now I get my Distress Oxide again, and now we're really going to distress them. If you want, you can leave it like that, but I like my ends. Nice and dark. It's probably because I was an inker when I was a scrapbooker too. I love to have that dark edge. And then I go through kind of where the white parts are, just because that bothers me. And like I said, it does take a little bit of time, I'm not gonna lie. But oh my God, is the result stinking cute. My dad loved the big one that I made. He's like, oh, how pretty. I'm like, he's supposed to be scary, Dad. And again, I'm just going in, I go on the sides a little. Right where the white is. And I do go along the bottom too. Alright, so that's what they look like up close. Alright. Now, I did use, and this one is optional, this is a sepal from my large sunflower template. So I did cut 6 of those. I just kind of mimicked my small one where we used the sepal from the mini sunflower. I just like that little extra black because we have the black center. So I did cut 6 of these at 7 inches high. And then I cut up the center 3 inches. I did prepare those ahead of time. So our layer 1 was 6 inches high, or petal 8, and we're gonna cut up the center 3 1/4 inches. So I just measure 3 1/4 inches. Make my mark. Now I would do probably, I was only cutting 2, maximum 3 petals at once because it's basically 2 sheets of paper glued together. And I did loosen it up when I was, oh, you have to roll both, sorry, let's do that. Oh my God, I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to roll the petals back, so I'm using a 1/2 inch dowel rod. And what I did is I loosened up the grain of the paper first. and then you roll both sides back. And this is why you want to leave your glue out, just in case any of your edges get loose. So again, I flip it over. I just roll my dowel rod over it to loosen it up for rolling, because we have the glue on there. Surprisingly, with the humidity, everything has been okay, and I did go outside with pictures. So if you feel like it's loose, you don't have enough glue there, that's why I say leave your craft glue out. Add a dab. It should be okay once we roll it or cut it up the center. Okay, so layer 1 petal, again, was 6 inches high, or it's petal number 8 in large template 3. So we cut up the center 3 3/4 of an inch. We're going to add our hot glue. So just a small strip. Lift it up and over. I'm sure you're all pros now making your large flowers. Layer 2 was the same height, 6 inches, or it's petal 8. And for these, we're cutting up 3 1/4 inches. So this was 3 3/4. This is 3 1/4. So measure 3 1/4 inch. Make your line. I do it on the back because you won't see it. I do have to make a line. I know V can eyeball her measurements perfectly. Oh, thank you, Myra. Thanks for joining tonight. Lift your petal up and over. So if you're new here, be sure to say hi. I'm Julie from PhotoFabPaperFlowers. We do crafting happy hour almost every Friday night. And this is a special one because I wanted to get the mummy done. So cute. Okay, our petals for layer 3. These were 5 1/2 inches tall, and we did roll both sides under. All of them are styled the same. Or this is petal 7. And we cut this 2 1/2 inches. I usually have to use this ruler when I'm cutting because I can see the notches a little bit better. I don't know about you, my eyes, as I'm getting older. Oh, thank you, Dawn. So our girl V just finished. So thanks for jumping over here if you were on her tutorial. Her spider flower was cool. She is my mentor, who I learned from, and it was 6 petals per layer. Our next layer is 5 inches tall, excuse me, and we're cutting up 1 3/4 of an inch, and we did roll both sides back. So 1 3/4. Oh yeah, you're down south from me, about an hour and a half, Myra. If you need something to do on Labor Day weekend, I'm at a maker's market in Lancaster, which isn't too far. It's a little bit closer to you, in Pennsylvania, at the Rockville outlets. Yes, this is paper, Debbie. This is 65 pound, and it's the Nina Bright White. I don't know if I can pull it. I get the big pack from Amazon. I just ordered another one, and it comes in a quantity of 250. So I did use a lot of paper because I made the 22-inch one. And that used like 40 some sheets of paper. And if you just joined us, the distress oxide that I used was antique linen. So it gives it a nice yellowy look, dirty look like a mummy would have. And this is petal number 5, which is 4.5 inches if you're using the cutting machine. And we're going to cut up the center 1 1/4 inch. And like I said, I did prepare a lot of the petals just because it does take some time gluing all your strips of paper on there. Lift it up and over. And there you have it. So when you're making large flowers, if you are new to it, the further up you cut the petal, the flatter it's going to sit. As we cut it less, they're sitting high up off the ground. I'm hoping what I did works with the size ball, styrofoam ball we're using, because I did spray paint those last night. Our base that we're using is the hexagon. I didn't have any more large 12 by 12 paper in white, so I like to cut 2 of them, and I don't know why, but this one is, and I'll measure from this one. So if you're only going to cut one, do a 10-inch wide one, and then this is 8-inch. I want to have the white center for our last petal to put our ball in there. I wouldn't want black to be in there. Okay, so I did glue these down. I glue mine onto cake rounds just because where I'm hanging them at my maker's market, it gives it more stability. So this is an 8-inch cake round. And if you see me, I do write my directions in my book. So I have a notebook with all of my notes before I type them up for you. So I am making more notes, and I will type up the large one that I did at 22 inches and the 14-inch one. Okay, so now that we have our hexagon base, I like to still keep them in order. The first layer is going to be the sepals. I'm going to make our marks, and these are what I normally do when I'm gluing or when I'm making large flowers myself. Is my first petal is going to be at 1. Let's do 1 1/4. And then I do, my first petal would be at the same one, and then I'm going to come in, and then I'm going to have 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So I make a mark at every 1/2 inch. I can adjust it, but I like to have my marks ahead of time. So the first one from the 10-inch edge of my hexagon is 1 1/4 inches, and then that's the sepal and petal 1, petal 2, petal 3, petal 4, and petal 5. And then I'll rotate. So we did the first one at 1 1/4. So sepal and petal 1, petal 2, petal 3, petal 4, petal 5. Oops, forgot the other side. This is just how I do it. Oops. 1 1/4. Sepal and petal 1, petal 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first one is glued at 1 1/4. The next one's a 1/2 inch in, 1/2 inch in, 1/2 inch in. Sepal, petal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. sepal and petal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Does that make sense? And that's, I normally do this all ahead of time. This one seems off, or unless I did that one off. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Alright, so we're going to glue our sepal on. And again, this one is optional. Go into the middle of this side of your hexagon, come up to your line and press. Rotate the base to the left or counterclockwise. I usually make noises when I do this by myself, so. This side of your hexagon, bring it right up to your line and press. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. I still use my little glue gun. Now I glued my bases down ahead of time just because the little glue gun doesn't like when you put a whole bunch on and then it takes a while for the glue to heat up again. So I just did that ahead of time. Rotate to the left. It's probably gonna go off. I have to stand back because the sepals are hitting me in the tummy. Oh yes, Myra, I do save them to my page. So I have playlists, so I will make sure it gets categorized into the Halloween one. And I did film myself making the large 22-inch one of this. Oh, this is the one I screwed up. Oh. One and a quarter, sepal in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Now it's right. Let's see if this still sticks. And then rotate. Add a little bit of glue. Now oh Debbie, I use the ink thing that comes with removable pads. I don't know, like a stamper. I'm not sure what it's called. You can use the finger daubers too, but because these were large petals, I did use the big one. So now we're going to go in between our layer 1, which was technically the sepals. We're going to take our first layer of petals, and they're not going to overlap yet, so we can just glue all the way across the bottom. So about 3/4 of an inch or so. So I'm just going in between, and we're lining it up with layer 1, which was the sepals. Now that I do eyeball to keep it even. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. Add your glue, go in between the sepals and bring it even with them. I just like this little pop of color, so you could do any kind of leaf in there if you don't have the sunflower, large sunflower bundle. Hi Olga, how are you? Debbie, what are they called? I forget. What are these things called? Like a stamper? Inker? In Julie's language, it's just an inker. Alright, so now we're going to bring it in even. So we're gonna say my large mummy that I made is 22 inches, so that's Papa Mummy. This will be Mama because she should be a little bit bigger. And then we had the small one, which was 14 inches. And then we have the magnet size, which is probably the infant, we'll say. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. And then our last petal for layer 1. Go in between the sepals and bring it even with that layer. So I usually do my first 2 layers even. I like to fill in the space. And now we can see what size it is. This is gonna be about 18 inches roughly. 18, 19. And now we're going to layer 3, which is our another petal. Is going to be even with the sepals. So we're just coming in a 1/2 of an inch. So we made our marks already. A dauber. Well, I have the finger daubers, but I guess the other ones are the same. So again, we're going in between the petals of the previous layer and just bring it right up to your line, your pencil marks. So, and like I said in the beginning, if you just joined, or blending tool, there we go. I like to make my marks ahead of time. That's just me. But if we need to change something, I will use the flexible ruler. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. Happy Saturday, friends. The weekend's here. Look, we had crafting happy hour. We started our weekend, and look now, it's Saturday night here. Well, where I'm at. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. I did get a late start to come into my craft area. I got a pedicure, so I have my toes done. I did go to Michael's because it's right across in the same plaza. I didn't go to the paper section though. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. I needed wiggly, googly eyes for this. Hi, Miss Wendy. How are you? Thanks for hanging out on a Saturday night with me. Place your petals in between the previous layers and bring it up to the pencil mark. Oh yeah, you can make the petals longer. I did. You can make them any size. Oh, Cheryl. Girl, you're up late. In between the petals and up to the line. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. Where are you located, Cheryl? Or do you go by Cheryl? I apologize if I'm messing it up. Oh, so cute. And we're going to rotate to the left or counterclockwise. And now let's just check our next layer of petals. Yep, I think we're okay yet. So flip it towards you, add your glue. So we're going in between these petals. I line it up with the other layer and I just bring it into our line. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. I hope my styrofoam ball that I painted is large enough. In between these two petals, and then I line it up here and bring it into our line. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. Thank you, Tammy. A large pumpkin. Wendy, we'll have to try and figure that one out. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. Oh my god, my internet keeps getting interrupted. I gotta keep moving here. So we're just going around, placing our petals in between and up to our pencil line. So it's a 1/2 inch in. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise, and then our last petal for this layer. And then we rotate it once, so now we're going to go in between our layer, and we came in another 1/2 inch. Oh, I hope this works. We might have to come in a little bit more. We'll go with the 1/2 inch mark yet. Okay, so go right in between. I line it up with this petal, bring it into your pencil mark, and press. And then rotate to the left or counterclockwise. Add glue. I'm not pulling the trigger all the way, and it's about 3/4 inch. Bring it into your pencil mark. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. We didn't do too many Halloween flowers. We did make an eyeball flower, mini flower. We'll try and make a large one of those this year. We'll see what else, because I love haunt season. Place your petal in between the previous layer's petals up to your pencil line. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. I can't wait to see everybody's. If you're new here, I have a group here on the page. Just click at the top. If you don't see it, you can hit more, and it's PhotoFabPaperFlowers Makers. You can post all your creations in there with my templates. You can ask questions, and I do post some files in there as well. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. And what you'll find with me, if you are new, I love to take my templates and mix them together and come up with new flowers. That sparks my creativity, and I just love that part of flower making. So rotate to the left or counterclockwise. Now, I think I need to come in a little bit more. So our last layer is not a 1/2 inch. We're gonna come in, I think 3/4. And that's okay, it's just pencil mark, so. We're gonna come in 3/4 inch. All good. Now we're going to use our flexible ruler. Well, I have a hard time seeing with this. That's the problem. So 3/4 inch in between each of the flowers. So I usually go to the edge of one of the petals and mark 3/4 inch. Just because the styrofoam ball that I'm using isn't super large. And there's no time to cut it another one, or cut another one, spray paint another one and have it dry. Alrighty. So for this one, we are gonna, I like to flip it towards me. I'm gonna put glue on half of the petal because I'm anticipating it should overlap our first and last one. So go in between your previous layers, petals, and it's gonna line up with layer 1, 3, and now 5. So right up to your line. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. Hi Bobby, how are you? I know I had that group, I apologize. I started it the other week and I haven't promoted it too much, just on Crafting Happy Hour. It's free to join. How cute. Woo! This mummy looks like she's been around for a while. Go in between these two petals, lined up with layer 1, 3, and now 5. Rotate to the left or counterclockwise. Oh, she's so cute. Happy Saturday, my friends. If somebody can respond to Josephine, that I will post the sizes for her or for everybody of what petals to cut. Oh, Bobby, feel better. Now we're going to tuck this underneath, so in between these two petals, and line it up with layer 1, 3, and now 5. Thank you, Myra. I will post all the sizes on a nice document for everybody. Because you probably can't read my writing if I showed you my sheet. So we just tucked it underneath our first and last petal, and then we glued that down. So our flower is now made. I'm sorry, Tam. Oh, I don't know what's going on. It's because I live next to an apartment building and people are home on the weekend, so I try not to do too many tutorials on the weekend. But here is my sizes, if you can read this, of what petal of large template 3, the sepals, the hexagon base. I'm using a 2.5 inch styrofoam ball. I spray painted it black. We're using 1 inch strips with the antique linen Distress Oxide. My wiggly eyes are from Michaels, and they're 1.1 inch wiggly eyes. Okay. When I spray painted it, I used matte black. You could paint this. Thank you, Wendy. I used this last night. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I'm spray painting. So I just stuck it in a styrofoam base that I had, and I just spray painted 3 of them at once. And it went super fast. I was a little woozy from all the fumes. So here's my styrofoam ball. So you can see this is probably a little bit more dense black. And now we're going to glue our wiggly eyes on. first. So again, these were 1.1 inch. So I'm just gonna put our flower to the side. And I like to work on it on this base, so I just used a piece of stem wire that I had extra. And now I do use hot glue for this part. I'm gluing on our strips. Watch your fingers, friends. Hot glue burns. It looks like a frog from this part. Give it a moment to dry. And now this is where I like to use the full strips of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So I just cut them into 1-inch strips. Because now, actually, this is smaller, so we could go all the way around. I might cut these down a little bit. I forget how I do it from flower to flower. So I add hot glue all the way across. Now be careful. I do use Gorilla Glue, so it dries fast. And I just kind of put a strip over the eyes. So we're doing this part. So this is the little one. So we're doing the same concept all over the ball. So in the one that I have done, again, you can see we're just gonna put all these strips all around it. Oh, your 6-month-old grandson. Oh, Debbie, so cute. And Grexy, depending on what time it is, where you're at. Again, I'm adding just hot glue all the way around. And my first 2 strips I like to do right at the eyes. And I just put my finger on the hot glue, so be careful. So cute. And I am gonna add some skinnier strips. So you can see this was my bag. It was filled with strips of 1/2-inch ones. I add them at the very end. I do use Gorilla Glue, and the hot glue gun that I use is Adtech Precision Pro from from Amazon. I just use this because I use this for mini flowers, and I always have it out because I primarily make a lot of mini flowers. And now we're just gonna keep going around, adding all different angles. So just wrap the styrofoam ball, but we do paint it black or spray paint it just because you can see through it, and I like the black color of it. Gives it a little bit more creepy look. You can see all the ink I have on my hand. Thank you, Tammy, for that, for posting it for her. So we're gonna pull it out of here then once I get another strip or so on. Now save these smaller pieces because you can use them, but also if you make another mummy flower, you can use them for your petals as well. So we're gonna use this one. Oh, be careful. Make sure it's pressed tight where the ends are. So cute. Now last time I added the smaller strips once it was in my flower, but I'm gonna add it now. Once we get a few more bigger pieces on. How are we doing, friends? Did you make anything this weekend? What you working on? I have to make stuff for my maker's market. I need to cut vinyl, my least favorite thing to do. Wendy. My friend Wendy, who's on here, does some of my vinyl. I know, my mummy. This was the best idea I ever had, I think. The ladies keep me on my toes with my creativity, and I love it. I love trying to figure out new things. So Wendy says she wants a pumpkin. We're gonna have to figure that one out. Now we're gonna add some little ones. Ooh. You're welcome. I know I have to make probably some more sunflowers. I need to do the vinyl for my Hocus Pocus magnets. I think my friends are coming over tomorrow. It's supposed to be rainy here in PA to cut some petals for me. So that helps me when I set them up on my Cricut machine, and then they can just cut and then I can just create. It's a good assembly line. So this is a 1/2-inch strip, so I like to add these on at the end. In all different directions. So remember, he's not going to be sitting like this. The eyes are going to be on top, like straight like this. So I'm going to cut them in half, I think. Oh, I know, Bee. You guys really need rain. The hurricane's coming up the coast, so I think that's why we're getting rain tomorrow. It's supposed to hit Long Island, and hopefully not Jersey. Or anybody I wouldn't want it to hit, but... Oh, what is it? Henri? Though it looks Henry to me, but they keep saying Henri on the news. The hurricane seasons have been banned. I'm supposed to go to Florida. It's making me nervous. Looks like she's a little eye booger. So I'm just, again, adding some of these smaller pieces. Because you figure maybe around the face, the mummy had smaller ones. Oh, Janice. Was Fred the previous one, wasn't it? You have a lot of flooding down there, I saw. Let Grandpa take him. Aw. It's been a while since we've had a little baby around here. I don't have kids. And my nieces and nephews are now in their 20s. Late 20s. We're almost done. I didn't count how many strips. It's usually like 5 to 7 of the 1/2 inch. I might add one. Let's check it, see if that'll be shown. I think we're good. Let's take a look at it in the flower. All right, you might see my head, sorry. Because you gotta think, when it's hanging on the wall, what will you see? So you wouldn't see the top. So I need to make sure, I'm gonna put a small strip there. Oh, thank you. Oh God, Janice, that's awful. Yeah, these storms have been crazy. Scary. So I'll be driving to Florida very soon. So I'm just checking it again to see. I still have a gap here that you can see. We'll do one more. It's a fun part, just making our mummy come alive. Huh? These are be super cute for decoration anywhere, like in an office, kids' room, in your home. Whoops. Oh my gosh, I still have one area. I don't think I did enough large strips. I think we're good. All right. So now we need to add a lot. This is probably where you should have your large glue gun. And of course mine is right at the end of a glue stick. So we're gonna add our hot glue. All over. And press it down on the center. Look, you got to see the back of my head. Oh my God, you can see my roots. And all my bug bites on my arm. Now, the last thing I did is I went back and added a little bit more distress. Just because it was too clean. Like I said, this does take a little bit of time, but just enjoy the process. I thought it was very relaxing. Like gluing the strips on. I don't want her face too clean. Thank you, everyone. So cute. So technically you could probably added another layer, or you could have done a little bit larger styrofoam ball. Like I said, I used a 2.5 inch. You could probably use a 3 inch there. So now I have a set of 3. This one is about 18 inches roughly. I'm gonna unplug my glue gun for the moment. Oh, actually I should probably show you my loopy-doo on the back. Here's our other one. So when I hang them, I add a little wire loop and then the strip. And just because it's easier if I'm at the maker's market to hang them. So I'll show you real quick. I have a whole bag of Christmas hooks that I just keep or I buy at Christmas time, though it seems like I never go through that many because I don't make a lot of large flowers anymore. So here's a little Christmas tree hook. I unfold it. I just bend it. Cross it over. And just twist it. So remember with your eyes, I think it's okay. I flip it straight up. I add some glue. Sometimes I use a circle, but since we have these strips, we're going to use these. And this loop does work with some string attached to hang them on like basically anything, a nail on your wall. What are those removable plastic hanger things? The heck are they called? I can tell I had Arby's for lunch. I can tell I had carbs. They work for that because I give my friend some flowers for the doctor's office she works at, and the hooks work for that. Then I just add my sticker. So V from Forever Petals by B made my logo. Oops. Command hooks. Yes, ladies, thank you. And that's how I attach. So it helps when I go take my photos outside on the neighbor's shed. So there you have, there's two of them, and then the large one is 22 inches, and that one I used 8 petals because I used an octagon. And that is our mummy inspired large flower. So if you want, you can make the smaller version, which is template 3 mini flower. And for the ball, I used the eyeballs from Dollar Tree and painted it black. So super fun Halloween flower that you can add to your collection. I'm just looking for my spiders. You could even glue some little spiders on. I have these cut out of paper if you wanted to. I use these for my photos a lot. But you could definitely glue them on. Yeah, you can glue on spiders, but that's it for tonight, friends. So I thank you for hanging out on this Saturday evening with me for a special tutorial. Since we got it done, I wanted to get it out. I will do a tutorial early Monday night for the rest of the chrysanthemum mini flower for the other 2 flowers we didn't make during crafting happy hour. So thanks again, yeah, they do look real. I should glue some on. I should make a little baby one. All right, so thank you again. You're very welcome, everyone, and thank you for hanging out. And have a great weekend. Stay safe, whether you're in a hurricane path or health-wise. So thanks, friends. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.